So I remembered the thing, which is great, and I had the foresight to write it down.
I don't even remember what the context for the thing was anymore.
So the point that I was going to make, that I remembered as I was listening to the last episode for editing purposes, the reason I started explaining the PRND was because I was going to talk about
That dude.
that dude and a big fanfiction no-no. And the reason I brought up that dude is because I was leading into a point about how I think there is a way to be horny on main that is, for the most part, respectful, question mark, where you're not like absolutely disgusting about it.
You don't have to objectify them, like actually treat them as people while you appreciate
Precisely. So the reason that I was that I was just like had to get from point to point to point in a very long and roundabout way is because I was reading a What We Do in the Shadows fanfiction, and it was like, I can't even remember what the exact context was, but I'm pretty sure it was like implying, or like very heavily implying, or like kind of like, fading away at the point where it's like, oh, the guy and Nadja are gonna go hook up or whatever. And somebody left a comment, an anonymous guest left a comment on this fanfiction, so I know it was this motherfucker. Just being like, oh, good writing, I guess, but like the guide and Nadja would never hook up, and I know it's this guy because every time like anything in the show is like, yeah, all of these vampires will fuck anything that moves, like does not matter who, what. He's like, oh, but Nadja doesn't actually like women, blah blah blah. It's like gross. And I know it was him, but he left a comment on this person's fanfiction being like, oh yeah, like good writing, I guess, but this would never happen. It's just it seems just like you're just writing wish fulfillment. It's like, first of all, yeah, that's what fanfiction is, you idiot. Yeah. And second of all, I cannot even begin to describe how much of a like fanfiction community no that is. Like, there is a tag, essentially, and this is becoming like a problem. This is just going to be Bridget gets into fic discourse.
Mm-hmm.
But there, at least when I sort of stumbled into the fanfiction community, there was a lot of value placed on the tag/phrase "don't like, don't read."
Mm-hmm.
And don't like, don't read. If based on the description or the first paragraph, you don't click on it, or you click back out, and you don't say mean shit.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not for you, move on. But I cannot even begin to describe how just fucking rude it is to comment on someone's fanfiction to say that you didn't like it.
I mean, just even in a broader sense, if you don't have anything nice to say,
don't say anything at all. And I've probably said this on the podcast before, like, the gap in like fandom literacy / etiquette between people who are like maybe 3-4 years younger than I am is mind-blowing. Absolutely. Like, I could go on about this for hours. It's insane how people just like do not know how to leave people alone when they're like doing a fandom thing that they personally are not a fan of. It's nuts.
Yeah,
like, people, there's a movement right now where people will literally dox people for shipping things that they personally don't like or are grossed out by.
I don't think it's specific to fan fiction community, though, because I think it's just like this general thing now where everybody expects the world to cater to them, and I think people get too comfortable behind a keyboard.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, or there's a specific name for it in fanfiction circles, I guess, is what would be a better way of putting it.
It's like, I don't get the point. Is it to feel superior, or like?
In the examples that I'm thinking of, they're called like antis, fantis, fan antis, or like fandom police, fan poll. And it is definitely to feel superior to other people. Like, I can just about guarantee that.
They need to go to therapy.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, they will...
Better ways to feel better about yourself.
No, for real. Like, there's this thing now. You know the scene in Arrested Development? I don't even watch this show. But you know how he, like, goes to the fridge. There's a brown paper bag. It says, dead dove. Do not eat. He opens up the paper bag and it's just like, I don't know what I expected. There is a tag on AO3 specifically where if you tag your fanfiction as dead dove do not eat or dead dove do not read, it means all the other tags on this fanfiction, take them fucking seriously. Like, if it says, like, dubcon, for example, you know, if it is also tagged with dead dove, like, this is some heavy shit. Maybe it's extremely intense, like BDSM roleplay, maybe it's whatever. This isn't just like dubcon as in, oh, these two characters hook up while they're drunk, so maybe it's a little sketchy in real life. Like, take it seriously. But the, like, fantai movement has like, reduced it to dead dove is any content that they deem bad. It's insane. And, like, or, like, has... There's so much discourse I could get into. I'm, like, so passionate about this. Not just, like, as a fic writer, but just, like, as a person. Like, I think, like, fandom is such an interesting, like, sociological phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much going on there that, like, should be studied, and, like, we're only kind of just now getting to that point.
I mean, there are people that study it, but they're more, like, critical scholars.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of quantitative work in that area.
But yeah, it drives me nuts. And I don't understand what happened in, like, the 3 years between, like, the people, like, between my age and, like, the ages of people I see on Twitter, like, with these just god-awful fandom takes about, like god-awful takes about fan works, and, like, essentially, like, oh, the things you read are, like, a reflection of, like, your real-life morals and values. It's like, no. Anyway, to start off with a little rant that I didn't even mean to get into because I remembered a story that I tried to tell last week.
God.
Don't really know where to go from here, but got that out of my system.
Good. Good event.
That's what this podcast is, really. This podcast is two friends just say words at each other. This is us hanging out, but we record it. And, like, occasionally put things on a list to talk about. This is what it's like to hang out with the two of us.
Yeah. I try to remind myself, too, that, like, oh, yes, this is being recorded for people to listen to in case they might enjoy it, kind of thing. And so I have to remind myself, like, I was going to tell you about my new showerhead that I'm really excited about.
I want to hear about your new showerhead. Listen, if at this point you've been listening to this podcast for a while now and you think, oh, she's talking about a new showerhead, like this is the final straw, this is the quality has gone down, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you've been here for a while and that's the final straw, what were you expecting?
It's exciting because it's one of the ones that, like, it can be handheld. It has, like, the hose.
Yes! Oh my god, those are great.
It sticks via super strong magnet.
Okay.
And it's real fun. You just pull it off, use it, and then it reattaches by magnet. It's super cool.
You know the great thing about detachable shower heads, when you, like, actually, like scrub, like, do the bathroom deep clean and you scrub down the shower walls.
Yeah. Yep.
Makes life so much easier. That is one thing I miss about my parents' house, is that there was a detachable shower head.
You can get one. You can just screw it on.
I could, but the one I have is, like, the one I have currently, like, it's kind of nice. Like, it's a, like, good water pressure. It's a nice shower head, so I'm like,
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if anything that I would buy, like, would be that level of nice because I am a semi-broke woman living by herself.
Two primary reasons I got it. One is makes cleaning easier, and two, I like a lather when I shower, and I have a tendency to just like there's lather everywhere when I'm done. There's just like foam on the shower curtain, on the tile, and
I'm
everything.
impressed that you managed to achieve that.
Yeah, I don't know how I do it every single time because again, I just like a lather. I probably use more shampoo and like body wash and stuff than I need to, but I just like
Whatever.
lather. And so I especially like I'm like trying to rinse it down, like, no, you're gonna leave soap scum or And today when I was done washing and rinsing, I just took the thing off and went.
Damn, what a time to be alive.
So I'm real excited. I just got it this afternoon.
I think those are the things you should be excited about. And again, if you're
That's right.
here and this is the final straw for you, I don't know what you were like waiting for.
Yeah. I also am getting a new coffee table soon, so that's
Dude, oh my god, one that's not gonna like fall apart at the slightest gust of wind?
yeah. Simply because my parents bought one and then it wasn't the right size, and they don't want to go through the hassle of returning it.
Nice.
Like,
Oh,
"Hey, you
those are
want it?"
always the
Like, "Oh."
best.
Like, all right. I've looked for years, couldn't find one I liked, and I just all right,
You
I'll take it.
purchased the Trader Joe's chai latte concentrate, correct?
Yeah, I still haven't used it.
Oh, I was gonna say that's what this is, and I was gonna ask if you'd tried it yet, because I'm enjoying my
Yep.
Trader Joe's chai latte.
Keep forgetting it's in there.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Well, let's get into the actual podcast
All right.
after just 10 minutes of total bullshit.
Sure.
This is stolen from Reddit, shocker. What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask somebody that will tell you a lot about their personality? And you came up with, you had seen this on the document prior and mentioned something on the stream where if you ask someone what their favorite character from Death Note is and they say Light Yagami, run. Which,
Yep.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and I skimmed through the Reddit thread a little bit, just kind of
Oh, I
curious
didn't.
what
Maybe I
had
should have
written.
done that. I did not.
But one of them to me is one of the top questions, and I think it's actually maybe come up with us before. I can't remember. But where do you know Tim Curry from?
I was going to say that exact thing because, like, Rocky
Okay.
Horror Picture Show, you're
Uh-huh.
gay. Annie, you're a theater kid. Muppet Treasure Island, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Annie, those can all be you're a theater kid, but like Rocky Horror Picture Show specifically, like you are a gay theater kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, and you could say Home Alone 2,
Mm-hmm.
or actually one of the first movies I think of is the movie Clue.
Literally saying. Actually, though, I think the first movie I can ever remember seeing Tim Curry in, Annie, which like not shocking at all. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you've met me.
Yeah, that's definitely the oldest thing I think I've one of the oldest things I've seen him in. I mean, the first thing I think of is always Rocky Horror, but
How can you not?
yeah. But definitely Clue's up there, Hook is up there.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in that. And God, what else is he in? Oh, you got the Wild Thornberries.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, there's just so many.
What a
Or
versatile
like
man.
It, horror movie buff.
Yeah. Yeah.
What an icon. What an icon. Fern Gully.
I know there's like something major that I'm forgetting and it's just not coming to mind.
Okay, wait, hold on. Clue, Rocky Horror,
Mhm.
Annie, Fern Gully, Muppet Treasure Island, Wild Thornberries, Home Alone 2, It, hmm,
I feel like there's something, or is it just me?
I
Oh, Congo.
Oh, there it is.
I was just
There it
pulling
is.
up his IMDb page and it popped in my head, but there might be something
Cringe
else.
banger that I have yet to see.
Literally, the first thing like on his page, the known for is Congo.
Hell yes, King.
Second Clue, then Rocky Horror.
Clue is one of those movies where like if you don't think that's funny, I don't like you.
Maybe that's a good question. Do you like the movie Clue?
Yeah, do you like the movie Clue? Because if the answer is no, we can't be friends. If the answer is that you haven't seen it, we have to fix that immediately.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of like movies and TV shows like that if you ask people whether they like them, that can it's a good judging question.
Do you like Monty Python?
Yeah, because if the answer is no, we're not gonna
We're
get
just
along.
not gonna get our senses of humor are way because you and I have extremely different senses of humor in a lot of ways, but we have the one very important uniting factor, Monty Python.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
frankly, I think if we didn't have that, we would drive each other insane and not in a fun way.
Yeah, I mean it's the similar kind of I mean really kind of a stupid humor
Essentially, yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. That's I think that's like probably one of the best ways I can explain it is that Monty Python is both like it has its moments of highbrow and then it's also just dumb as shit. Which like something about that combination beautiful.
That's why it's so good. Yeah.
With a healthy dose of absurdism in there just to keep things interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what other
I was like, man, there was some sort of animated thing that I was thinking of over the garden wall.
Yeah, if you
Like,
like don't
briefly.
like Over the Garden Wall or like if you are a person
Or
there's
Tim
so
Curry.
Hmm?
He voiced Auntie Whispers
Oh my
and
god, you're so fucking right. If you know Tim Curry from Over the Garden Wall, you are a child. Like, there's
oh,
simply no way around it.
I feel like it's kind of hard to recognize his voice.
I know. Anyway,
What a character.
um, yeah, there's so many movies where, like, that's the question. It's like, what do you think about this movie? And depending on the answer, I know whether or not I would actually, like, really get along with this person. Because I am a big fan of the movie where nothing fucking happens, but everything happens. And if you are one of those people who, like, watches a movie like, have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
No, I know of it.
I love that fucking movie so much. And again, it's kind of one where, like, not nothing happens, but, like, it's not super, like, tons of cause and effect plot, I would say. Like, it's a lot of vibes. And, like, if you aren't a person who can just enjoy a movie that is just vibes, like, you have to have, like, oh, and then they break into the bank to do this. It's like, no. Mm-mm. Like, I love a good, like, plot-driven action flick as much as the next girl, but, like, come on. If you can't enjoy a movie where nothing happens, we can't be friends.
Hmm.
So there's a hot take.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like for me, most of the media that tells you about a person is like comedy related because to me, so much of liking or not liking a person has to do with sense of humor.
Oh, and you
You know, like,
actually, here's another, like, small thing that, like, maybe this is just me, but if these are people I cannot get along with, if you say that, like, the Beatles are objectively not good or that, like, they're overrated or whatever,
mhm.
like, they can not personally be for you, but, like, are not even necessarily overrated. Because, like, yeah, you can think they're overrated. You can think maybe they are, like, I had a high school art teacher who did this, who was just like, oh, the Beatles are bad. Like, they're not important. I'm like, no. Like, that's, like, they can be not your taste. You cannot like it. That the Beatles are bad and that they are not important, like, two objectively wrong statements. Like, it cannot be your thing. But whenever anyone tries to make the argument, it's like, oh, like, all these, like, you know, they just sound like everything that comes after them. It's like, yeah, because they inspired fucking everything. Like, it, oh my god, it pissed me off so much when this guy would just, like, act so superior because he didn't like the Beatles. Shut up, you're not special. Like, you are doing the exact same thing where you're like, oh, everyone likes the Beatles. Like, that's so basic. You're, like, being basic in the opposite way, where just, like, you're being contrarian to make yourself feel special. Hate it. Cannot stand it. Which, and I feel like by extension, anytime a person is like, oh, yeah, like, I just hate this thing. Like, it just sucks. Too many people like it. I'm like, yeah, because it's good.
Well, not always.
Not always, but often.
Sometimes a lot of people just have bad taste.
Sometimes a lot of people do just have bad taste, but I absolutely hate when people are like, oh, like, X is popular, therefore it must be bad, or like, I'm special for not liking popular things. Drives me up the goddamn wall.
Yeah, I mean, I think that fits into a broader category of just contrarians in general.
Absolute worst. One of the worst traits in a human
Yeah.
being.
Like, being contrary just for the sake of being. Like, I have slash had a friend, we don't really talk so much anymore, but like, that was his whole thing. He just wanted to, like, everything I said, he would go against it because he kind of thought it was fun, like, to have a spirited debate. And I'm like, but you don't even believe what you're saying.
Oh my god, that would
Yeah.
drive me to murder. And like now that I'm thinking about it, my stupid ex-boyfriend, incredibly fucking contrarian. And I don't know if it's just like because those were his genuine beliefs, but like every time I said a thing, it was always like, well, I don't know, like this isn't actually good, blah blah blah. Like, go away, shut up. Who asked you?
Yeah. You might, even if you don't agree, you don't always have to say it.
Yeah, some things you can just
Sometimes
keep
you
to
can just,
yourself.
yeah. You can just kind of hang out and be like, oh, cool, glad you like that thing.
Yeah, and then move on.
Just be, just be a pleasant human.
Just a thought. Were there any other responses to this question that you felt were worth discussing? Or do
Oh,
you
the
have any
comedy
other
thing.
thoughts, period?
The comedy thing that I mentioned was because I was going to bring in Mitch Hedberg,
Oh my god, absolutely. Yeah,
right?
if
Because
you don't think that's funny, we can't. Like, no.
Yeah,
This just isn't gonna work.
yeah. I think my other major one is asking how they feel about animals, like
Oh,
pets.
100%.
Because I tend to judge people a lot depending on how they act around animals. Like if they're nice to them or
Yeah,
you
and like
know
I
if
can understand a person being like, yeah, I like animals, but like maybe I don't really have time for one. Like I'm out of the house all the time, blah blah blah. Like that's one thing. But if you're like, oh, I don't like pets, no, 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 we're
yeah.
not doing this.
I mean, like if I were dating a guy and I brought him over for the first time, like I'm gonna be looking to see how he interacts with my cats.
Oh,
Like
100%.
kind of like I don't want them near me. Like,
Nope, none of that.
but on the other hand, if he goes up and starts like petting him and like baby talking to him and stuff, I'm like, well, that's it. I'm in love now.
Husband.
Yeah. But it's not just for like cats and dogs, like
You heard it
snakes.
here. That's how you can get Brooks's hand in marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so like, somebody finds out I have a snake and they're immediately like, oh, like, why would
Yeah,
you
how
do
you feel
that?
about snakes, that is very important for me. Like,
Yeah.
you can, like, be a little creeped out. You can be like, oh, I never thought about a snake as a pet, or I'm kind of, like, wary around snakes. But if you're, like, automatically, like, ew, that's disgusting, get fucked.
Yep. Yep. That's
Am I
always my.
being really mean this episode? I feel like I'm being really mean.
Maybe. No, I'm trying to think of like, I was trying to imagine a scale for you. Like, where would I put you on a scale?
Okay. Oh, also totally unrelated. These like Stanley Tumblr things that are
Mhm.
apparently all the influencers have them. That's what my mom told me when she got me this for Christmas.
Okay.
Really keeps your beverage cold. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, the technology is just, again, what a time to be alive.
Right? The internet was a mistake. Like so many things about our current timeline were a mistake. But like damn, I can keep my tea hot for like 12 straight hours.
Yeah, like last Friday, I made tea in the morning and then was too busy, and so I didn't even get a chance to drink it until the afternoon, and it was still super hot. I was like,
Like insane.
amazing.
Emperors in the past did not have this ability.
So true.
We live like gods.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw someone, I think it was like a Tumblr post. I'll try and find it, and I'm gonna write it down now so I don't forget. And I believe this is partially a verbatim quote, but it was like, y'all ever think about what absolute mad decadence we live in, that our term for plain is vanilla? Like, bro.
Yeah. Because it's the most basic ice cream flavor.
But
We've
like,
gone extreme.
people killed each other for that shit.
Yeah.
Whack.
Trade's too easy now.
Every
Back in my day,
back in my day.
in the
Anyway,
1500s.
Yeah, did you have any other responses to that question that you thought were worth discussing?
Just asking people if they have hobbies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if somebody's like, yeah, no, I don't really have any hobbies. I'm like,
What do you
who are
do?
you? Like, what?
Or
And they're like,
anyone
oh,
who's like,
no.
oh no, I'm too busy with my like startup or whatever. No.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
Like, I like people that are passionate about things.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And if you just work and sleep and that's pretty much it,
And
like,
again,
you're
there's
not very
nothing
special.
wrong with being a just like very mellow, kind of low affect person. We are just most likely not going to get along. I will be too much TM.
Mm-hmm. I get excited about a new thing like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
Just constantly jumping from thing to thing.
Yeah.
And I can't handle somebody who doesn't like have a thing they get geeky about.
Yeah. No. Can't do it. Man, maybe I should look at the responses for this. That would have been smart, but when have I ever done when have we ever done things the smart way here on the Fighting with Friends podcast?
Yeah, I really only glanced at a few of them. It was
Come on.
a lot of stuff that I'd kind of already thought about or that didn't really seem to apply. I like this one about the favorite compliment they've ever received.
Ooh, okay.
It tells you a lot about what people think of themselves and what they tend to value.
Oh, here's one for my game nerds. What does HP stand for? Health points, hit points, etc.
Oh, yeah, I had looked at that one and there were a bunch of different ones. I thought about, the printer Hewlett Packard.
Hmm.
Yeah,
There's some good ones here. What
yeah.
would you do if you won the lottery? Yeah, okay.
But I feel like ones like that aren't kind of mundane. That's kind of a
They
big
are kind of
question.
mundane, but like the comment here says it's like, oh, you could get an idea of like their attitudes towards finance, which like, yeah, okay. That's like a non invasive like tell me what you think of this way to kind of gauge how someone might feel about a certain thing.
Big question I heard in an interview. What would you do if you came home and found a penguin in your freezer?
I have no idea.
Uh, First up, let him stay in there. He likes the cold. Uh, Second, call the local zoo.
Yeah,
See if they're missing a penguin.
I'm gonna say get him out of there.
Well, I
Cause
wouldn't have
my
to do it
freezer's pretty
closed,
small. There's a lot of stuff in there.
I suppose. I mean, but I assumed that penguin went in there in the first place because they, wanted the cold.
Yeah, so I guess I would just put all my freezer items in a cooler then. I think that would be step one.
Yeah.
And like maybe like crack the door a little to like make sure he can breathe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, probably see if anywhere's missing a penguin.
Yeah. Which again, the zoo would be the first step, and even if they aren't missing the penguin, they would know what to do or
Yeah.
where it might be from and all that.
Here's one that's gonna be really specific to me personally, as someone who has recently entered her like metalhead era. If I were like, let's say for example, if I were playing the dating game again, which thank Christ I'm not, but like, if I were playing the dating game again, and I like was talking to a guy who seemed to have like kind of similar music tastes to me, like perhaps into some heavy shit as well, immediately gonna ask him what he thinks of Ghost. Not just because I'm such a big Ghost fan, but there's this people are very like people can be very like gatekeepy and exclusionist about it, like oh Ghost isn't real metal, like blah blah blah. Like if you can't just like in like enjoy music made by people who are clearly having fun with it, regardless of whether or not it fits exactly into, you know, XYZ genre, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
So, like, not just because I am such a fan of that, but, like, if you can't enjoy, like, the camp, the theatrics, like, if you have to, like, be rigidly like, oh, I only listen to, like, super heavy hardcore, like,
Yeah.
if you can't have fun with, like, if you take your own interests so seriously that, like, you're, like, kind of not having fun with it anymore, no. So, and I guess that extends to, like, various other things, but that's the example that's, or, like, the sort of scenario that comes to mind for me being a fan of the music that I am a fan of. You good there, bud?
Yep. Just random tickle in my throat that just decided it was gonna bother me.
Cool, fun.
And I was also scanning here. Do you put the cart back when you're done shopping?
If you don't, you're a monster.
Yeah.
Does Mike Wazowski blink or wink? But, like, that's a whole podcast episode right there. Which, like, now I'm kind of sad that I didn't think of, like, troll the comments here for podcast discussion questions. But too late now, I guess. Or we've gotten there eventually? Whichever way you want to think about it.
What's the last thing you did for the first time?
Oh, what is the last thing I did for the first time?
I think that's a really interesting one because it's gonna just show you like how interested people are in trying new things and
Actually, I think the last thing I did for the first time, and this is gonna come back up during the weekly worsening, the last thing I did for the first time was buy a sewing pattern. I have purchased a pattern for the first time in my life, and that was super recent.
Nice. Yeah.
So, whatever that says about me, there you have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's also a hard question to answer because, like, how big or small does it need to be, you know? Because I guess the first thing that popped in my head was buying a manga for the first time, but...
Yeah, or like another big one that we both did, went to a fucking anime convention.
Yeah.
So, depending on what you consider big enough to really think of as, like, a first time. Yeah, okay, that is actually super interesting. I like that one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Some of these I just don't... Do you sleep with your socks on?
Oh, I do.
But I don't get how that, like...
Some people get very salty about that.
I don't get it.
Like, I think that was a really early podcast question, like when Maddie was still here, and I'm, like, pretty sure we got very angry at each other. Oh, man.
I don't get why it matters, because, like, it's your feet. It doesn't affect other people.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. But again, this entire podcast is just, like, things that don't matter. So I understand trying to find those things, like, those questions that get people really heated but don't actually, like, have much consequence.
Well, but I just mean, like, because it's personal preference, I can't really see what the points for or against it are.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Although I am a no socks person.
Well, okay, I mean, I know why you're a no socks person. I was just gonna ask, like, why specifically when you're sleeping. But then I forgot that you just hate socks, period.
Yeah, I'm a no things on my feet as much as possible person.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
It goes back to when I had surgery on both feet.
Yes, you have explained this. I can't do the opposite. Just, like, my tootsies get cold.
Nope, I'm pretty much barefoot at all times. If I'm at home. Anyway, obviously not out in public.
Yeah. Yeah, my feet get cold.
And if I can get away with, like, you know, the earliest I can wear sandals and stuff like that so I don't have to wear socks on there.
You fascinate me.
My feet just need to breathe. They were so penned in. My feet were wrapped from toe up, like, halfway up my calf for months.
Gross.
Yeah. And now that's why I can't, like, ever since, I just can't. I don't like things with my feet. They must be free. Free the feet.
I like this one that just says what soup they like.
Anyways.
I mean, sure.
That's sort of an interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
is there a bad soup? I don't know.
Yeah. I love the TikTok where the guy just stares into the camera and goes, "Why don't we have alcoholic soup?" And, like, that's it. Which, like, I feel like there's many, many cultures that, like, could step up to fill that void, like, very easily. Like, I think we need to, like, get, like, we need to give this task specifically to, like, the English, the Irish, the Scottish, a lot of Eastern Europeans. Like, there's many, many people that could step up to fill this void.
There are a lot of fermented soups already that exist. You
Yeah,
just
but
gotta,
are they
like,
alcoholic?
no. That's what I'm saying. You just gotta take it a step further. So they're on the path.
Yeah, I think that is a thing that we need, honestly. I think that would be very fun. Anyway.
Tell me about something you like doing that you're good at.
That's a terrible question to ask me because I don't think I'm good at anything. I'm a very bad judge of my own abilities.
But that's why it tells you a lot about people.
Oh, yeah. You are not wrong.
I also just enjoy saying, "Ooh, squirrel," then check to see if they get excited at the prospect of a squirrel.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. Try to see if you're, like, ADHD compatible.
Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Someone to make me worse. I'm not that.
Yeah, I was gonna... yeah, that is the last thing you need. You need somebody to keep you on track.
You know, they say opposites attract because sometimes you do need the opposing force, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel that. This next thing I have, if we feel we have sort of beaten this to death,
Yeah, I'd say it's on life support.
was, this came up on an episode of Side Stories that I was listening to today. Shout out Last Podcast on the Left. Love you, boys. I can't remember who brought it up, but either way, they were talking about how this group of parrots at a zoo had to be, like, separated because the parrots were encouraging each other to swear. And Kissel specifically, like, towards the end of this little, like, portion of the conversation was like, do the parrots know that they're swearing? And here's my thing. I don't think they know that they are, like, cursing, but I think a lot of animals of a, like, certain level of intelligence definitely know when they are doing something that they are not supposed to be doing, and have the ability to sort of, like, you know, egg each other on, like, oh yeah, you, like, you know, you too, do the bad thing. It'll be, like, it's fun. We know we're not supposed to be doing this, but we're having fun doing it. Yeah. So I think they know that they are being naughty boys and encouraging each other's tomfoolery.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have, I assume they don't have a grasp of the English language to the human level, but they can differentiate between words and, like, assign different meaning to different words.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it all depends on how people react to them saying those words.
Yeah, no, like my dog, 100%, like Piper. She knows she's not supposed to be on the couch. She gets up on there anyway when she thinks she's alone. And then sometimes, when she gets caught, she does her little, like, I'm so sorry. Like, looks up, guilty dog. Like, the entire subreddit, r/guilty dogs, is wonderful. It's just dogs, like, looking away from the mess that they've created. So, like, obviously, animals know when they've done something naughty.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially for an animal as, I guess intelligent is one way to put it, or, like, we think of parrots as, like, certain species of parrot as being particularly intelligent just because of how well they are able to communicate with us, or, like, how many things they are able to learn. So, like, I would say an animal as intelligent as a parrot definitely knows that it's doing something it's not supposed to be doing, and I would assume has the ability to kind of encourage others to partake in causing some trouble.
Yeah, but it's all dependent on humans, though.
It is all dependent on humans, so I don't think they know that they're swearing. I think they know that they're doing something that they're not supposed to, but they're having a little fun with it.
As long as humans have, like, chastised them for doing it or something. Because
Yeah.
if someone just swears around them all the time and they never act like it's a bad thing, they're not going to know any different.
Yeah.
It's just any other word to them. So they need to not only say the words, but also get yelled at for doing so, or, to learn that it's not something.
And I would assume that they have been, seeing as they've been separated and are also, like, parrots in a zoo where they know that, like, children are probably going to be like, I want to talk to the bird, and then the bird tells them to fuck off. Which, like, and Henry brought up an excellent point. I want to be sweared at by a parrot. If a parrot told me to fuck off, I'd be having a great day.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, but it's not any different than human beings, though, because, what we count as swear words is pretty much arbitrary. Like, they're words that we made up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you break it down like that, everything is made up. So, like...
But, I mean, so, the point being, though, that even a human being, we don't know that a word is bad until people react to it badly.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because, like, there have been times where, I've come across a term that I'm like, I don't know what this is, and people are like, oh my god, that's a terrible, like, it's a racial slur or something. I'm like, what? That there actually is one example of that came up in a movie that apparently it was a racial slur, and I'm like, I've never heard this in my life. I never would have thought it was something bad.
Yikes.
And obviously, I'm not going to say it because it's a racial
slur. Yeah. But, like, it's like when kids don't know that a word is a swear word. Like, I remember when I was in grade school, this one kid was telling me he accidentally learned the F word because he was just trying to come up with things that would rhyme with duck. And then his mom yelled at him. So, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all comes from human reaction, because otherwise they don't know anything about. Of course, I'm just keep thinking about Peepers this whole time. Because Peepers is the only parrot I've ever known.
I have never known a parrot, and boy, would I like to.
Yeah, nice to visit. Wouldn't want to have one. Just so messy. And
I've said this so many times. I just want a friend that has a bird, so that I don't have to deal with the bird screaming at 2 a.m., but I can go over there and, like, hang out with it and give it little treats.
Yeah, it was fun to watch Peepers, like, yell at people and try to steal it.
I need this in my life.
No matter how many times I heard her call my brother Bobby. It makes me laugh.
Her brother's name is Justin.
Nobody knows why. She called him Bobby. She just always did.
I absolutely love it.
Bobby.
Whatever.
And just like she named the cat Chicken.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. God, amazing.
Yeah.
Here's a final thing. And I don't know if I saw this somewhere. I don't know where I got this. This definitely is not an original idea from me. I will say that. I will try and unearth where this was first, like, put into my brain, but who knows. What are your thoughts on the notion of a car that will not turn unless you use your turn signal?
So, one quick clarifying point.
Yes.
So, the car will not turn unless the turn signal is on.
Correct.
If the turn signal is on, are you then immediately required to turn and you can't get out of the turning?
No.
Okay.
Like, so everything about your car is normal. The car functions as normal, but if you don't put your fucking signal on, you cannot turn, you cannot change lanes.
I don't think that could work practically, because what about, like, bends in the road?
Okay.
Well, this specifically comes to my mind because of the way that my street is.
Yeah,
it has those two like really short bends that people interpret as turns.
There's some workaround for that. I don't know what it would be. I am not. I'm not actually thinking about this in the way of, like, how we're actually trying to implement, like, self-driving cars or whatever. Fuck Tesla. But, like, just the concept of a car where everything is normal, But
Yeah.
if you don't use your fucking signal, you don't get to change lanes, you do not get to turn.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct is excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, make those people use their turn signals. I hate it when people like hit their brakes because they're turning and they never signaled, and I'm like,
Oh my god, it pisses me off so much.
I would have been ready for it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also imagine a lot of scenarios where it could cause problems.
Yeah.
Like if, for example, you're in an emergency situation and you're kind of frantic, and you know,
I can see that being a problem.
that would be an issue.
Back when I used to have a Tumblr account, there was this post that was like, I'll just keep coming up with random things that I've seen on the internet in the past today. Who knows why? But there was this post that was like, oh, you know what's so fun? Using your turn signal. Like someone's like being annoyed because of bad drivers. Somebody commented, it was like, I'm sorry, I'm from Tennessee, I don't understand. And the original poster comes back and replies, just show this to the horse you ride, he'll take it from there. I was like, okay. Oh, nice. Love it. As much as, like, 2013 Tumblr was a hellscape, it was integral in shaping my sense of humor, like, as an adult. So, for that, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately my answer would be no, because I'm just trying to imagine scenarios, like, what if you are in the middle of passing somebody on the highway, they're in the right lane, you're in the left lane, and they all of a sudden decide, I'm gonna come over into your lane because they didn't bother to check their blind spot, and you need to suddenly turn, or you're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah. Or if you're, like, being followed.
Yeah.
And you don't want to... So I guess this would just, like, create more problems, but God... Imagine but also, like, there are times where I'm just like, imagine a world where, like, nobody could cut you off because they didn't signal.
I would like to imagine a world where people would be held accountable for not using their turn signal when they should. Like, I don't want to go the route of, like, you know, you have a monitor in your car where the government gets notified.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You know, but, like, but I wish there were some way, you know.
Yeah, same. Like, I want people to learn to use your fucking turn signal, but I don't know any way to, like, enforce that wouldn't cause more problems.
Yeah.
Or to, like, make it a requirement that wouldn't cause more problems.
Everybody has a dash cam, and if you see somebody who doesn't use their turn signal, you push a little button and it takes a picture of their vehicle and sends it to the...
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little closer. I don't like these ideas. I just don't like that people don't use turn signal.
Yeah, no. Like, just use your turn signal so we don't have to do these things.
Yeah. And I feel like there's plenty of times where it's reasonable not to use it. Like, if you're in an empty parking lot by yourself,
that's fine. You don't need
to turn down an aisle, you know, like...
Yeah. I mean, if you're in an empty parking lot by yourself, if you're, like, getting out of your... If you're, like, the God, what is the word? Graveyard shift. There we go. Thank you. I say to myself, if you're the graveyard... Like, you're the only person on the graveyard shift of whatever you're closing up, do whatever you fucking want.
Yeah. Although one of my biggest pet peeves is people that drive through parking spaces, like they just completely ignore the aisles in organized order of the parking lot.
When I was, like, closing up...
When it's a busy parking lot.
Okay, that is a problem. That is bad. Do not do that. I also hate that. But when I was, like, closing up at the movie theater and the parking lot was, like, literally empty, I would just straight line. I mean, who cares?
If it's empty, yeah. I mean, if
there's no one
it's,
around,
like, empty, or it's, like, just kind of a dead zone, there's nobody out and about.
Yeah, there was, like, one other car on the other end of the parking lot. I'd be like, well, who cares?
But the number of times I've almost been hit because I'm driving down an aisle normally and somebody decides they want to zip through a couple of parking spaces that are empty. I'm like, no, it's fine to do that when it's an empty lot, but this is, like, middle of the day on a weekday. There's tons of people about. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely not.
I've had to slam on my brakes, and I'm like, no, I was following the law.
Bro, did I tell you I got sideswiped on the way to Powerwolf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You told that in your Powerwolf stories, yeah.
That was... Yeah, but was that in the Lost episode? Could have been. I got sideswiped on the way to the Powerwolf concert. Somebody, like, shot off of the exit and clipped me. And they did more damage to their own car. Like, they took off their own side mirror. And I pulled over to assess the damage, assuming that they were going to do the same thing, and they just kept fucking driving. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, people suck.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that wasn't fun. And, you know, maybe that wouldn't have happened if they were required to use their turn signal. Or else they couldn't change lanes.
I'm still bitter that the person who caused me to total my car a number of years back just left.
I don't think I've ever heard this story in detail. Please share.
Not really much of a story, because I was living in Maine 2014. November 1st, 2014. I remember the very specific date. I'm not going to
I
tell the
would
story.
remember totaling my car.
Well, because it was the day after Halloween, and there was like there
Yeah.
was this really big snow, and they had canceled morning classes, but I had to be on campus for afternoon classes, and I lived like 20 minutes away from campus. But of course, like, even in Maine, when it snows, people are like, what is this white stuff? How do I drive in this? You know?
Do better.
And we were all like, there was a bunch of us like trying to merge onto the highway, but everybody was, oh, how do I drive in this weather? So we're kind of, trying to get on, but there's a line of us getting on the highway. And I can kind of see that it looks relatively open, but I glance back to check my blind spot to make sure, turn around just as the car two in front of me slams on their brakes at the end of the ramp. The person behind them stops like an inch away from their bumper, but because I was looking at my blind spot at that exact moment, I slammed into the person in front of me and totaled my car. And then, of course, the person who caused the whole thing just drove away. There was no reason to stop.
You hate to see it.
And it made me so mad because even the woman that I hit was like, that asshole. Like, this is not your fault. If I had been looking, checking the blind spot like you're supposed to at the same time you were, I would have hit them too.
Yeah. Insane.
Still mad about it because, yeah, my car was totaled. And...
I would have, like, did you go to, was your car, like, even drivable? Did you get, I would have set myself on fire.
No, I had to wait for the tow truck. And then they towed me back to the garage. It's like a mile from my apartment, but then I had to walk back to my apartment.
No, I would have just been like, just send my email, whatever, but just be like, not today.
I'm trying to think of how high I think the snow was like up to my waist.
Yeah, no.
I had to walk through.
I would have gotten home, got on my computer, and just been like, not today.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't go to campus or anything.
Okay, so fantastic. So at least
I
you
had no way to get there.
Technically, quote unquote, got that out of it, which like you didn't, but
yeah, but also
at least you had a reason to be like, fuck this.
But also, I hit a car hard enough to total my car, so I was not feeling great.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine.
Just bruise and like,
oh, ouchie.
Yeah, it was real bad. That seatbelt really got me. Oh yeah, my the seatbelt housing actually shattered on impact. Like there were pieces of it everywhere.
Oh my god, did it like cut up your face?
No, thank God. But my airbag didn't go off like it was supposed to either, so that was great.
Fun. Did you have like a shitbox car or?
It wasn't terrible. It was a Ford Focus. Wasn't that old. But that's also how my mug got chipped. The mug I now use is my snake mug.
Oh,
it was in a bag in the back seat, and it flew off the back seat with such force that it chipped the mug inside of my bag.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an impact.
That's kind of impressive, honestly.
Yeah, but that was an absolutely miserable day, walking through waist deep snow in pain.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a day where you just like you go home.
I forgot the cherry on top.
Oh no.
We didn't have power because of the storm.
I would have laid down in the snow and died.
Yeah,
like I would have chosen to pass away.
The power was out for, I think it was like 24 hours or something like that, but it was out when I left. And so it was still out when I had the accident, and so I stopped at the grocery store and got groceries that I could eat without power, like peanut butter and stuff like that. And so not only was I walking to my home in waist-deep snow, I was also carrying bags of groceries.
No. I would have chosen a snowbank and it would have become my grave.
Oh my god, it was so absolutely miserable. And it actually made me even madder when I got home and the power was back on because I didn't need to get those groceries. And I didn't need to carry them in a mile through a mile through waist deep snow.
You know, it's times like these. Just sometimes I am a slug and God is salting me.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah,
that's
no,
just
that
how
was
it be.
what a great day that was. Like
Yikes.
I had a bit of a breakdown when I walked through the door and saw the power was on.
Oh, I 100% would have had a breakdown. That is justified. Oh,
Yeah.
big stretchies
Right.
from the
It's
boy.
like it's good that the power's on, but not after I went through the effort of dragging these groceries home, you know. And even buying them, being as like in pain as I was and everything. I just wanted to go home and fall over.
Well, you got there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, great time. But I think that's going to bring us to the weekly worsening. You got anything off the top of your head? Because I sure do.
Oh, man. Um, it's spring break. I should be using this time to catch up on work.
Are you not doing that?
Um, no, I'm really not. I bought a set of crochet hooks. Um, because I've had some, like, I got a bunch of them that I've kind of bought here and there as I've needed them, and I was like, I just want a nice set. And I bought a nice Japanese set of crochet hooks that I shouldn't have spent the money on.
Of course you did. Can't say
But
I'm shocked.
yeah, but I've been, crocheting this week, crocheting my pochita and crocheting a blanket, and I got that controller for my Switch.
God, who are you? Gamer.
Just digging into these things that I shouldn't be spending this much time on, but I am. So
Whatever.
that's good. I also did frame my art prints,
Oh my god, they're so
which
cute.
I got white foam sheets to put a little strip along each side so that it kind of is like a mat in a sense, so it holds the picture back and
I love
frames it
it.
a little bit. Yeah, so I was real proud of that. But
I'm a big fan.
yeah, I mean that's primarily how I'm worse this week.
Here's how I'm worse. I spent $200 on fabric for a cosplay.
Nice. For one cosplay?
For one cosplay. I hate Me Too, but also I don't.
Is it for the ghost one?
Of course it's for the ghost one.
Well, I didn't know if you had another one brewing.
No. No. Nothing that I have to like actually make a custom item for in the way that I have to for this, but like as I said, I bought patterns. I've got a bag full of fabric over there. I have stolen the sewing machine from my mother. I
Serious.
am very serious. I'm going insane. But, if this is what keeps me from like doing drugs, whatever.
I've taken this week as an opportunity to also start taking some boxes out of this closet in this room.
So are you
and
just
going
making
through
a
them.
bigger mess in another room in your apartment?
I mean, there's some stuff sitting out right now, but I'm making some good progress, like getting rid of things and stuff. But man, what a treasure trove!
Did
Like
you find the stuffed frog?
No, I think that one's might be in the basement. I don't have any stuffed animals in this closet.
Hmm.
I'm hoping it still exists somewhere. It's possible I got rid of it at some point, but um, when I was like 11 years old, my best friend and I were obsessed with Nancy Drew books, and we went to Catholic school together, but we both left for public school in fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the 90s, so that we stayed in touch by writing letters back and forth.
That is so
Letters
cute.
where we talked about our detective agency because we solved mysteries and we even had like code names and stuff like that. And I found some of those letters.
That's so cute. Oh my god.
Just reading them and just losing my mind. We were so serious. We legitimately thought we were detectives solving mysteries.
Listen, there is nothing like being a like 12-year-old girl and just being insane.
We even had our own like little detective kits because this was the point in time where like these tiny there was a very specific kind of tiny backpack that was really in style at the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
And so we each had one of those, and they were our detective kits where we had like a magnifying glass and like a notebook with pencil and whatever else we
That is
thought was
so cute. That is
yeah.
so cute. I love that so much. They're weird little girls are the backbone of civilization. No, I will not elaborate.
Yeah, oh man, I was such a book nerd in so many ways at that point in my life. Like that was life.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'm looking
fun.
forward to seeing what else I'm gonna find.
Yeah, keep me in the loop. I want to hear about everything.
Yeah, no,
I want to hear about everything you unearth.
Yeah, I found my electronic Dear Diary, which is just.
Oh, I remember those shits.
Yeah, I haven't come across my Polly Pockets yet, but they're somewhere.
Those are like valuable now.
Yeah, they're in one of the boxes. I got a lot of boxes in there.
Hell yeah. Well, that's
organizing,
super fun.
Getting rid of stuff and organizing things into clear bins so that I can actually find what I'm looking for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my idea of a good time, whether or not that's very sad to say at age 24.
I like organizing. The thing is, I have trouble letting go of things. And so it's very stressful.
Me too, bestie.
Like, over there is laying this lovely iridescent purse from, like, some high school dance that I'm like, it's so cool. I'm never gonna use it. Like, I need to get rid of it. But it's hard to do because I have an attachment
issue.
Yeah,
I feel that. I feel that big time.
So I like organizing, but I find it very stressful because I don't want to give things up, but I need to give things up. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It is satisfying, though, once you get stuff organized and you look at it and you're like, look at it.
Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling.
Such accomplishment.
Nice. All right, well, as always, thank you, friends, for fighting with us. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will be back again next week. Adios. This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brookes. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98 and at AndSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!